Super Saturday of opportunity. I'm all suited and booted because it is a very, very special weekend. The lamp is glowing gold. First of all, we have a special video here, a premiere from Sensei, talking about everything you need to know with XRP. Right after this, there'll be something else special for you. And then at 5 p.m. Central this evening, live, I'll be back with a special live event of everything that you need to know for the Open on Sunday night. It's an explosive week. So much information. You won't want to miss it. And now enjoy the premiere from Sensei. Watch to the end, and then you'll get the link on to our very special event at 5 p.m. tonight. You can't afford to miss this. This is the information that you need to make money or protect the money that you already have. Now, on with the video.
Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei and we are here to cover the breaking news about the SEC Ripple case. We've got an update. It's not the best update. It's not the worst update, but we're going to look at the chart. We've got a possible bear market signal on the chart as well. So it's more of a warning video, this is, so please do watch it. It won't be very long at all. Stay till the end for a special surprise as well. So getting straight into it. XRP's price action is currently at $2.42. The reason I'm giving a warning is because we didn't break out of $2.62. If we had enough volume, if we had enough buyers, if we had institutions buying it, we should have easily broken through $2.62. We watched it for 3 days, and for 3 days it failed to break out. And yesterday we actually had a breakdown. We broke through $2.50. So on a day-to-day basis, looking at these charts every day, I am now more bearish than bullish on the short-term price action of XRP. Why am I saying that? Because I'm not going to be bullish until we're at least back up above $2.50 and more realistically back above $2.62. It seems, if you're just looking at the chart, you can see 2 days, 2 candles, and that one in the middle as well of a rejection of resistance. That is not the most bullish thing to see on a chart. So that those 3 candles in the short term did sort of give us that heads up that downwards price action can occur. However, we hold $2.30 and we're fine. As long as we stay above $2.30, we're fine. If we break $2.30, don't be surprised for another $2 XRP. And I want to put this warning out there as well. This is another warning I want to put out there. Yes, I'm bullish on XRP. Yes, I see $10 XRP by Q2 of 2026. That is my base case. I give that likelihood a 60% likelihood. Again, everything I'm saying is not financial advice. Please do not follow any of my trades. Please do not do what I say. Please do not take any trades based off what I'm doing. This is not financial advice. This is just my thoughts and opinions only. I'm a very high risk investor. I'm a very high risk tolerance person as well. My capacity for loss is through the roof. So don't put in more than you can afford to lose realistically, especially if you're looking short term. The warning is, we don't know if the bear market has started, and that's talking across the whole general market. So you need to know in the back of your head, when you're investing in XRP, the bull market could have already come and gone. We could have had a terrible bull market. We could have had a tiny altcoin season. We've seen the altcoin season. We saw the Bitcoin rally. Bitcoin went to 110,000. Altcoins had their big moves. XRP went up 700%, more than it did last cycle. So there is a case for the bears to make about the bull market being over. That's not, right now looking at the price action, right now looking at the charts, I don't agree with them, but they have a case, they have a point, and we can't ignore it. And that's the warning I want to put out there is, do not expect this is a get rich quick scheme. These investments in crypto are a roller coaster. You make money, you lose money much quicker than you make money. You then go into bear markets for 4 years, and then it all happens again. The reason I stay invested in XRP is because you see these all-time highs happen in a matter of weeks. You see them happen in 2 weeks. If you're not invested in the market, it happens, it's gone, it's done, you missed out. So I've always got a long-term bag of XRP, but I've also got a trading bag of XRP. I haven't taken a trade since I bought at $1.70. I've still got that open position. However, if we start breaking $2.30, I will consider trimming my trades, my leverage trades that I bought at $1.70. Our last buy, because there is an argument that if we start breaking these supports, $2.30, $2, then we could be entering a mini bear market or a longer term bear market. And that's the warning you want to put out there. Not because I'm negative on XRP. I'm actually more bullish than most people. I don't have $1,000 price prediction, but I do have a $100 price prediction in the next 5 to 10 years on XRP, and I do have a $10 price prediction by Q2 of 2026. And that can happen in weeks. That could $10 could be in 2 months' time. It could be in 6 months' time. So you need to prepare. This is the point I'm making in this video. You need to be prepared for all scenarios. You need to be prepared for this to take another 5 years. You need to be prepared for XRP to never make all-time highs again. You need to be prepared for a bear market. You need to be prepared for XRP to make all-time highs next month. You need to be prepared for a $10 XRP in 2 quarters' time. The perfect strategy, the perfect plan takes all of them into consideration, and you'll be fine either way. For example, my situation, I bought at 30 cents. Perfect. It's probably never going to go back down there. Let's ignore my entry price. A lot of people have just started investing in XRP. Let's say your cost average is $2, and you're a high risk investor, and you can afford to hold the money for a while. You need to be happy with XRP going back to $1. You need to be happy for XRP to go sideways for a couple years, 3 years until the next bull market at those levels, accumulating, for example. You need to be happy. You have to have a plan in place for XRP, a take profit strategy. I've got my take profit strategy very much ready. I know why I'm going to take my profits. I need to be ready for those, to take those profits potentially this year, potentially in 3 years' time. The perfect strategy looks at what's going on, keeps up to date on the market on the day-to-day, and also has a long-term strategy that you're going to be fine either way. This is not a video of me trying to fearmonger you guys. It's a video of me trying to get you prepared, because I would hate to see you guys lose out because you weren't prepared for the downside, and you were only prepared for upside. Only being prepared for upside leaves a few issues. This SEC news, however, is not bearish. People putting a bearish spin on the SEC news, it's not bearish. It's this little bit of a setback. It's not it's not ideal, but it's not bearish. Let's have a look at that SEC news right now. So what's happened on yesterday? And the reason I didn't cover it live is because it was pretty much a nothing burger. It's not. You don't need to react to the news really. The price doesn't need to go down because of this news. It's nothing. On May the 15th, 2025, Judge Torres denied the SEC and Ripple's joint motion for an indicative ruling, which would have let them go back to her to lift the injunction on Ripple to reduce the fine from 125 million to 50 million. Why was it denied? It was a procedural issue, not a ruling against Ripple or XRP. The court said the motion didn't follow the correct legal framework. Ripple and SEC filed it as a request for settlement approval under Rule 62.1, but what they were really asking for was vacating a final judgment and reducing the penalty should have done under Rule 60, a much stricter rule. They wanted to take the quick route, the SEC and Ripple. They just wanted to get it over and done with. Judge Torres, look, she's been through it for 3 years, 4 years. The SEC continuing to upset the court with misruling, with presenting facts wrong, with delaying things, with a terrible case they brought against Ripple, and now they suddenly just want to get rid of it. Judge Torres has been through it for 3 years. With the SEC being so particular about things, with the SEC going after Ripple in such a particular way and in such a wrongful way, that she's saying, well, you can't just get rid of it like that. If you're going to be like that before, you've annoyed me so much, you have to do it in the proper sense, and you have to do it under the correct rules, and you have to do it with more paperwork under the correct rules, and we're gonna end this properly. Judge Torres said she doesn't have jurisdiction right now. Both Ripple and SEC already appealed the original judgment to the Second Circuit Court of Appeals. This court can't take action unless the appeals court sends it back, so we have to wait for that to happen. They didn't meet the burden to change the judgment. She noted the Ripple and SEC didn't provide the strong legal basis needed to undo the final judgment, vacating the injunction and cutting the fine by 60%. They didn't even mention the correct rule that governs this kind of request. The key quote, if jurisdiction were restored to this court, the court would deny the party's motion as procedurally improper. So First of all, they have to wait for it to come back to Judge Torres' court, and secondly, even if it did, they didn't do it in the procedurally proper way. So even if it came back from the appeal court, she still wouldn't approve it unless it was done correctly. Why is it not a big deal? This is not a rejection of the settlement between Ripple and SEC. It's just a technical denial of the procedure they used to implement it. The appeal court can still grant a limited remand to let them try again with the proper legal mechanism. The appeal process is still active, and both sides may simply need to restructure and refile the request under the correct rule. This is not a setback for XRP's legal status or a reversal of the July 2023 ruling. It just means Ripple and the SEC tried to fast track the process the wrong way, and the judge said no, follow the proper legal steps. We've got some expert insights into this here. We've got John Deaton giving us a little bit of a breakdown.
What I hope is not at play here is political motivation. You know, I've always said that Judge Torres was good and all of that, and I think she handled the case fine. But, you know, I hope that crypto, the new administration, the Trump and the meme coin, and she's not drawing a line here where she thinks crypto's bad and she's taking a stand just because the SEC changed doesn't mean I'm going to change my ruling. I hope she doesn't dig her heels in that way. But
I don't think she will. There's no need for her to do that.
What can we expect? I think we're going to have to see a brief. And I got to tell you, I think the SEC is going to have to eat crow. I think they're going to have to fall on their sword in this joint brief by saying that this case was misguided. I think they got to cite that Congress is working on bills, that digital assets are akin to commodities, and they've come to that decision that ETH, XRP.
That would be great, wouldn't it? The SEC is saying, so sorry, Judge Torres, everything we've said is wrong. We are completely changing our tune. This is how great cryptocurrencies are. I mean, it's what they were doing at the round table, and it looks like they have to put it in writing for Judge Torres as well.
Solana, Bitcoin, all of these cryptos are in essence more like commodities and should not be governed. I think that they need to say, look, there's no victim here for Ripple. Ripple can sell to a Bank of America.
It's funny. Now the SEC have to give all the arguments Ripple was giving. Now the SEC has to really explain why they're dropping their appeal. Now the SEC has to face what they did for the last 3 years. Now they're going to have to be defending Ripple. And they will, and they have to, because Ripple are in the right. The SEC wants to drop the case. They're both in agreement, and that will happen. Let's see how much they defend the Ripple now. It sounds like the SEC have to become Ripple's lawyers now.
America, right? They can sell to a hedge fund. Those are people who want to do business with Ripple. So this injunction that you have is limiting them and actually disadvantaging Ripple against maybe other projects. And we think that's unfair. There's no victim here. Your injunction is actually hurting American enterprise, is hurting companies who want to use this technology on payment rails and things of that nature.
We'll come back to that in just a second. We've got Stuart Aldergrotty. He's the official, he is the chief legal officer for Ripple. He said, nothing in today's order changes Ripple's win, i.e. XRP is not a security, etc. This is procedural concerns with the dismissal of Ripple's cross appeal. Ripple and the SEC are fully in agreement to resolve this case and will revisit the issue in court together. You need to hear anything else? We're talking chief legal officer, official chief legal officer working at Ripple, saying the SEC and Ripple are in full agreement and they will go and sort it out in court. There's nothing else you need to hear. That is the chief legal officer saying they're in agreement.
Cite Congress bills, all that basically saying to a shift, hey, we got the digital assets wrong, you know, it was a new technology and we have evolved in our thinking and put all that together and then say to the judge, this is now in the public's best interest. Digital assets are part of our new system moving forward, and XRP is part of that. I think that's really what has to be done.
So that's John Deaton's opinions. We've got Stuart Aldergrati giving his thoughts as well. We've got more Ripple news. There's still this behind the scenes. Ripple are just partnering. Ripple partners with WEIA to launch XRP Ledger Pilot, delivering blockchain-powered income and credit solutions to 300 Colombian farmers. We've also got David.
Crypto bro.
David, what's his name? Something. David P. I forgot his name.
Remember, I was trying to buy an
he is
apartment in Miami, and I got
mentioning XRP. Let's listen into this.
And I'm just like, that bastard. He just bought. He heard about Bitcoin when it was, I don't know, $8, $7. It's up by 100. I've slaved for 20 years, and he just outbid. So yes, there's 100% of FOMO on everything. I think that's the meme coin. That's general. I mean, I don't know Bitcoin. I don't know if there's as much FOMO now. It's so established, but like that's why I'm in XRP. Like that it's FOMO. It's not like I have some.
You can tell he's excited about XRP. He's specifically mentioning XRP there.
And belief in it, but it's what, $2, 40 cents or something like that. It's like, what if that's the next Bitcoin? So FOMO, I think, plays a huge part. I remember.
There you go. Fan of XRP, looking for the FOMO. I apologize, that was a bit quiet. But here we go. We've got Stuart Aldergrati again explaining why the SEC dropped its appeal against Ripple in March of 2025. So let's listen into this as well.
Stu Aldergrati, and this is Crypto.
Oh, we've got a bit of music, so we won't play that. That's a bit of old news anyway. So again, warning. Not really because of the SEC case, but warning because you need. I don't think enough people are prepared for the downside risk as well. I think there's more upside risk or upside potential, but you always need to be prepared for that downwards risk as well. We're talking 50% drops. We're talking potentially coming all the way back to 64 cents in a worst case scenario. I mean, yeah, there is what more worst case scenarios, but we're talking a sensible worst case scenario. If you're not prepared for a 64 cents XRP in a bear market at this point, then I mean, I would hate a 64 cents XRP. I would feel down. However, I'll be so happy as well because I'll be able to buy XRP at prices that I haven't seen for months and months, and prices I would want to continue accumulating. It will just give us so much more time to accumulate. But be prepared for downside potential. Be prepared for downside risk, $1, $1.50. But also be prepared for our upside potentials as well. $4.70, $5.30, $6.37, $7.40, $8.51, $11, $13, $18, $33. And I'm going to have a video coming out about $100 XRP as well in the next few years.
You watched to the end? Great. This was part 1. Now join us here for part 2. After part 2, you will go on to the live event this afternoon, which is just here at 5 p.m. Central, getting ready for the open. You won't want to miss this.